So I was, woo, yes, I'm talking jazz about failure, woo! And so I talked to my buddy and I said, I'm going to talk to these guys about failure. And he said, dude, this is how he talks. He says, dude, these are honor students. They don't know anything about failure. And when he said that, I thought, thank you, Lord, I found my subject. So what I'm going to talk to you about is something that we never talk about, and that's failure. We teach you how to succeed. We teach you all about success. And in fact, success, I've seen it grow into $1 billion industry. As the director of academic success at Texas Women's University, my entire job was taking kids from start to finish and teaching them success, making them find their goal, helping them to find their dreams. But along the way, there were a lot of failures. And in that, I say people who thought that they had failed because they had changed their major, or thought that they had failed because they hadn't done as well in a class, or thought that they had failed because X, whatever may have happened. And I saw people shut down at that point when they thought that they had failed. And so what I really want to talk to you about is that failure, and how that failure can really turn into the most powerful thing in your life. And to do this, I thought it would be interesting to share with you, and it's a little embarrassing to do this because my colleagues are here, but to share with you some of my private faith. Because I think what you guys see all the time is polished people. What you see are people, your parents, for instance, or your faculty members, or your staff members, and these are polished people in your eyes. But you don't see the failure that led them to where they are. You, for instance, don't see the times that your mom or your dad had to fight to get that check to pay school or to pay that bill. What you see is now the polished end, the conclusion of their journey, the journey that you're about to head out on. My journey began at the age of 18. Well, actually 17. I graduated early. I like to tell people it's because I was really smart, but in reality it was just because my birthday was before graduation. Woo! So, at any rate, my dad, great guy, love him to death. He died a few years ago. My dad started my journey with this. He said to me, he gave me $50 on graduation day, and he said, now get your ass out. He said, what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours, you go out and you make your own life. And I was like, are you kidding, Dad? And he was like, no, I'm serious, go. Now that sounds really harsh to you guys, yes? Y'all better say yes. Yes. But it was the most powerful thing that my father could have done, and it started a journey for me that now looking back at it, I might not have had he not done that, had he not spurred me that way. Now, I had suspected that was going to happen. I had suspected that was the way it was going to go. So I had something lined up. Always have something lined up. Advice number one, always have something lined up. Okay? Plan B is so important. Even if Plan A seems on the surface like it is the thing that you're going to do, Plan B sometimes is the most powerful thing that can happen in your life. Y'all remember records, those little 45s? No.
Yeah.
Look at y'all, you're all like, yeah. No, you don't. Okay. On the other side of those records, y'all do. Thank you. On the other side of those records were songs that never got played until 10, 20 years later, and they were just as good as that other side. But because people only bought those records for that way, am I right, ladies? Am I right? Yes, they're like, preach! Can I get an amen? Woo! I'm going to talk to this side of the crowd because this guy didn't do an amen. Okay, so at any rate, always have a plan B. Always have something in store. My in store was a job with the government. And I took this job, and I was really blessed to get this job straight out of school. I worked for the federal government. And I noticed something. I noticed that as I was sitting there filing stuff, I was just a file clerk. And as I was filing stuff, these agents would come through. These agents would come through with tans, and they would come through, yeah, I'm heading to San Calvo, or wherever they were going. And I thought, well, screw this. I want to be those guys. And watching them, I decided that where I needed to be was with them. Well, I had to take some steps to get there. And they were steps that I wasn't really sure I wanted to take because I was the first generation student, the first guy in college. I wasn't really sure what this whole college thing was all about. So I enrolled and I went to school. And the day that I said to my parents, hey, I'm going to school, how many first generation folks are there? Yeah, cool, give them a round. I know we make a lot of a big deal about first-generation students. Every student has to go through and navigate this landmine of what is all these deadlines and what is all this forms and all this paperwork. If you're a first-gen student, you kind of don't really know what that all is. I had no idea. I had no clue. I knew that men didn't sing. I knew that I could get a scholarship in choir. I knew I was going to have to pay for this myself. So I made a little audition tape, quite possibly the worst audition tape anybody ever made. But guess what? I got that scholarship. When I called my parents and I said, "Hey, I'm going to be leaving this job," within 4 hours, it took about 5 hours back then because you could only drive 55. God, I sound ancient. But you could only drive 55 from Clovis to Albuquerque. That's where I was stationed. And my dad made it there in 3 hours. That's how upset he was that I was leaving this job. And at any rate, he, in his eyes, I saw it. He must have thought I was like the biggest failure there ever was. Now here's advice number 2. Take risks. Don't be afraid of risks. Okay? I took a risk. I had no idea what this college thing was. Take that risk. And I took that risk, and I went to New Mexico Military Institute. I made lifelong friends. It was amazing. And there is where my life really took off. When I graduated from military school, I had no idea what to do with myself. The economy had just gone south. And I did not want to tell my parents that I didn't have a job, I didn't have a plan B, I didn't know what I was going to do. So, here's where I have to share my private shame. I lived in my car. I lived in my car for about 30 days. I didn't want anybody to know that I was living in my car. So I would go and I would eat off the dollar menu at Taco Bell. Back then you could get a really good deal on tacos at Taco Bell. I hate Taco Bell now. But at any rate, I got a job at a radio station. I lucked out and I got this job at a radio station. And there's where I found that I could take a shower, I could get coffee, and it was life was on par. And I learned that when you're on the radio, you can make up anything you want to be. So there I was, Ed Lover.
Wow.
That worked really well. I parked my car in back of the radio station, and I would come in and I would get ready for work, and everything was cool. And then one night I made too much noise getting coffee, and somebody heard me, and they found out that I was living in back of the radio station. And so the night jock was really cool, and he said, "Hey man, there's a couch, just come in here, it's cold out there, just stay in here." And that worked really well for me until I overslept one day, and the station manager came in with a client, and there I am laying on the couch. Oh, my shame that I'm sharing with you guys, this is horrible. At that point, everybody knew that I was homeless, and it was horrible, and I was like mortified. And so then I decided that I would come home, and I came home feeling like a complete and utter failure. And instead of feeling like a complete and utter failure and treating me like that, my father killed the fatted cow. No, he didn't really. He was like, "What the hell is wrong with you? Why didn't you just come home?" And I said I was too proud. Lesson number 3, don't be too proud. Never be too proud. Look around this room. Getting where you are today, you relied on each other. Getting here today, you guys had study groups. Getting here today, you guys kept each other accountable. Getting here today, you guys, when you weren't feeling good, when you weren't down on your luck, look at these people. These are your friends. These are your family. At Westland, we're really unique. I was sitting here at this table. I was getting goosebumps since I was just sitting there thinking, aww. I was getting goosebumps as we were talking about this small community that we have here, this family where we all know one another. It's okay to rely on one another. And that's lesson number, what did I say, 3, 4? I was losing track. 4? Okay, good. There's only like 10 more left. I'm just kidding, Okay, so that's the 4th lesson is don't be afraid to rely on each other. You're not doing this alone, okay? Enjoy the journey. Regardless of what you think the destination is, your journey is going to be so much greater than anything that you imagine. My life turned out nothing at all like what I thought it was going to be. I never imagined myself being married. I never imagined myself having kids, big kid. And I certainly, my friends from military school, they get a real kick when I go back to homecoming or we get together in the summer, because they like to joke. We never thought Eddie was even going to graduate. So with that in mind, just keep in mind that your journey is not yet written, okay? I really appreciate the opportunity to meet each and every one of you. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. And as you go forward, remember that Westland isn't going anywhere. You can always come home. Okay? You can always come home. Yes, Misty, you can always come home. And I have a bet with Misty's husband, and that is that I can make Misty cry, and I haven't done it yet. So y'all, I just want to, where's the executive board? Where are y'all at? Y'all stand up for a second. These people have done an amazing job. Something that got missed, y'all stay standing for just a second. Something that got missed, unfortunately, and it didn't get a bunch of press, but really should have, is Megan got y'all's chapter recognized on the national level. And that's awesome.
Yes,
I mean, y'all read the national And Misty, man, you've done a phenomenal job. You took something that was great and you made it even better with a fantastic team. And I'm not seeing tears yet, so I'm just going to keep going.
You're close. You're close. We almost had you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Linton. At least I got through that.
I have something special for you.
Oh,
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.